In plotting our revenge against my cheating wife and my best friend, Jack finds himself in an alliance with an unlikely partner. Their shared hurt fuels a plan for retribution, weaving a web of intrigue and moral dilemma. This chapter delves into the complexities of revenge, the planning, the emotions, and the unexpected bond forming between Jack and Sarah. As they strategize, Jack's feelings evolve, adding layers of conflict and passion. The chapter leaves you questioning the limits of vengeance and the power of hurt, ending with a revelation that challenges everything Jack thought he knew, urging you to read on. Chapter 4. Plotting our revenge against my cheating wife and my best friend. Deciding to hatch a plan of revenge against the two people who'd turned my life upside down wasn't something I took lightly. It went against everything I believed in, everything I thought I stood for. But then again, nothing about this whole situation was straightforward. It was like I'd stepped into a different world, one where right and wrong blurred into shades of grey. Sarah was the architect of this plan, and I, reluctantly, found myself drawn into her web of retaliation. There's something about shared pain that creates a bond, a sort of understanding that's hard to find anywhere else. With each meeting, we delved deeper into our scheme, a mix of cunning and desperation driving us. We met in secret, away from prying eyes, in a small cafe on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where nobody would recognise us, or so we hoped. I'd sit there nursing a coffee, listening as Sarah laid out her ideas. It was intricate, detailed, a plan that required precision and care, and the more I listened, the more I realised how badly I wanted answers, wanted justice for the betrayal I'd suffered. Our conversations were hushed, intense. There was an energy between us, a kind of shared purpose that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Sarah had changed since I'd last known her. She was sharper, harder. Life had sculpted her into someone who didn't take betrayal lying down. And I admired that about her, even as it scared me a little. The plan was simple in theory, but complex in execution. We would gather evidence, expose Tom and Emma's deceit in a way that left no room for doubt. It wasn't about revenge in the traditional sense. It was about revealing the truth, about shining a light on the lies that had been woven around me. As the days passed and our plan took shape, I found myself looking forward to our meetings. There was something about Sarah, about her strength and determination, that drew me in. It was a dangerous game we were playing, but it was also a distraction from the heartache that had consumed my life. But as we plotted and planned, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was stepping further and further away from who I used to be. The Jack before all this would never have entertained such thoughts of revenge. He would have taken the high road, walked away with his dignity intact. But that Jack, he felt like a distant memory now, a ghost of who I used to be. It wasn't all about the plan, though. Sarah and I, we talked about other things too. Our lives, our dreams, the paths that had brought us to this moment. And in those conversations, I saw glimpses of the woman she used to be, the one who had fallen for Tom's charm all those years ago. One day, as we sat in our usual booth, the conversation turned personal. Sarah asked about Emma, about what I planned to do once the truth came out, and I realised I didn't know. My marriage felt like a shattered vase, pieces scattered too far and wide to ever put back together. I confessed this to Sarah, the uncertainty, the pain that still lingered. And she listened, really listened, in a way that made me feel seen, understood. It was a connection I hadn't realised I'd been missing, a sense of being not alone in my struggles. But in the midst of our plotting and our growing bond, Emma reached out. She wanted to talk, to explain. Part of me wanted to ignore her, to shut her out the way she'd shut me out. But another part, the part that still remembered the good times, the love we'd shared, wanted to hear her out. It was a crossroads, a moment of decision that felt bigger than anything I'd faced before. Do I go ahead with the plan, expose the betrayal for all to see, Or do I give Emma a chance to explain, to maybe find some semblance of closure? I was torn, caught between the desire for revenge and the lingering threads of love for the woman I'd married. It was a battle within myself, one where I wasn't sure which side I wanted to win. And as I wrestled with that decision, a new development threw everything into chaos. A chance encounter, a piece of information that changed the game entirely. Suddenly our plan, the bond I'd formed with Sarah, my unresolved feelings for Emma, all of it was called into question. So here I am, standing at yet another crossroads, with paths stretching out in every direction. And the truth? I have no idea which one to take, but one thing's for certain. This story is far from over. There are secrets yet to uncover, choices yet to be made. And I, Jack, am right in the thick of it, trying to find my way through a maze of lies and betrayal. And that's where I'll leave you for now. But don't worry, the next chapter of this story is just around the corner. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that in this game of love and deception, nothing is ever as it seems.